Hey, this is Simone, as always, with some important insights, what to pay attention to as you scale your business. January is always an interesting month to me because I see all the New Year's resolutions play out, or more likely, they don't. Because here's the hitch. Just because you decide that you want to change something, it doesn't magically happen. So the biggest reason that things like New Year's resolutions don't really work is that only one of the three necessary ingredients is present: the decision. What actually needs to be present to create lasting change is the decision, commitment, and consistency. So let's break that down a little bit and talk about the decision. This is the easy part. It's easy to decide that you're sick and tired of your current reality and that you'd like something different, but even right there, it gets complicated. What do you actually want? It gets difficult because, one, if you don't know what's available, you can't see it. If you can't see it, you can't create it. So without a vision of what can be, you'll never get there. When you are deeply in the dysfunction of your business because you've gotten used to it, just like a headache, it is very hard to see and believe that it can be different. Many of our clients want to make the shift, but it's not worked enough times that the dream is getting smaller and smaller, and often now they're just living in the least painful possibility. There's no expansion here, only constriction. So that's the decision. Now let's talk about the commitment. The commitment, here it gets to be to the uncomfortable part. Because once that the excitement from making that new decision has settled and the dopamine in your brain is kind of wearing off, reality settles in and you're thinking, oh dear, this means I have to do a whole bunch of stuff that sounds scary, that is uncomfortable, that I don't know how, that I've failed at before. That's not me, and even if I do succeed, will I be able to pull off, or will I truly faceplant later? So now this means really jumping and having faith that the ledge will appear, trying something new without knowing every single step of the way, and making bold claims without any evidence that this will actually work, and possibly really embarrassing yourself or losing out big time. And still, you'll have to keep going. Most likely, it's not even going to work. You might have to try and try again, and only your faith and your commitment will keep you going. So I love scripture. It says in Hebrews 11:1, faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. So think this through. The evidence of things we cannot see is so counterintuitive to us as humans. If we can't see it, it's not real. So we miss all the wins and the progress and the evidence that it's actually already working, although it's not done yet. And because we're not seeing it, because we're only looking for our concept of what it should look like. So you'll have to really start digging deep in that. And even when others tell you that you're crazy and that what you're trying to do will never work, and that better people than you have tried and failed, and you'll have to keep coming back to the commitment that you made to yourself, doing things differently for lasting change. So that's the decision, the commitment. Now we're talking about consistency, and that's the even harder part. You can't drop the ball here, especially when it's actually starting to work. Everything is easy in that honeymoon phase when it's new and it's fun and it's challenging, but true transformation only happens when you keep going, adjusting and implementing when it's starting to roll. And that's also where the most opportunity and possibility live, because with the urgent emergencies handled, now you can actually focus on fine-tuning and mastery. It's not about adding more. On the contrary, it's about simplifying, streamlining, strengthening, and over and over doing that same thing. Just imagine what it'd be like if you take what's already working and you improve that just by 10%, maybe even 5%. And if you do that in a few different places, now you've really hit gold. So that's where you can truly increase profitability and scale yourself as a leader, because now you can focus on what really, really counts, which is strategy and growth. So we started with a decision, commitment, and consistency, but truly what the guiding principle becomes here is vision, faith, and focus. All that may start with a New Year's resolution, but more likely it'll come from failing with that resolution enough times that you get real with yourself and that you realize that this will take getting new beliefs and new strategy into your toolbox, and most likely you don't have them yet, because otherwise you would have already changed things. So if this is something that you are still struggling with and you need just a little bit of help to start heading in the right direction, we have a brand new training out there that addresses all this in detail. In the training, I'll explain each of the 4 steps that make up our multi-million-dollar system in vivid detail, so you can be equipped with all the knowledge that you need to get started. So go to bulletproofstartups.com, bulletproofstartups.com, and discover how to create a leadership system that will help you scale and sustain your business. Hope this helps, and I will see you next time.